So I did say that I wasn't going to, I didn't want to talk about behaviors in this drama circle for a little bit. And, it's been about 4 days, I think, since I've done a video. And before that, it was a while, over a week, maybe even longer. I'm not sure. And in my last video, I explained why, what I have going on and what I'm doing. And I still haven't put out the video on my concrete pumpkins I made, and I will do that. I said that was going to be my next video that I put out. But, I lied. I'm sorry. That will be the next video that I do show, I promise. I think I said that the last time, but I will. I have wanted to, I'm not going to lie, I have wanted to talk about some different behaviors from what I've listened to when I'm doing stuff around the house. I've already told you. I have my phone there and I will be listening. And it's been tempting. I've been tempted to put out a video, but, I've been just with time restriction, and just sometimes you got to pick your battles, right? Now, I already did a video before this on the subject that I wanted to talk about, and I deleted it. And there was a reason. Because I wanted to call out just another little thing. It's petty. It's very petty. But yeah, I already had a video uploading to my gallery before I even before I even knew that Lichen gave me a nickname, Star Guzzler. Star Guzzler. I think it was Star Guzzler. Had no idea. I made a comment on a creator's, they did a video on Lichen, I think we all know what that is, about how he was talking about Mrs. P and how nobody, when she was in his community, nobody should be talking about her, making fun of her, doing videos on her and stuff. And then here he is. And that's what we're going to talk about here in a minute. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. I made a post, or not a post, but a comment, basically saying that it is not okay. It's one thing to call somebody out on their bad behavior. Okay, I'm all for that. No matter who you are. All right? No matter who you are. If it is pretty bad behavior, you should be called out on it. But to continuously make fun of somebody, make fun of their looks, and to make video after video just going at them and making memes and like I said, making fun of them, being a bully, that's not right. Okay? You're being a bully. And, the double standards and all that stuff. So basically that's the comment I made. It wasn't rude. I'm normally not rude. Now this video, my tone might sound different because I'm pretty passionate about what I'm going to be speaking on. So I didn't even know that he said anything about me until I listened to just a portion. I didn't get to listen to it all the way through on Granny's Watching's. It was a replay, the last video that she did. It was not very long. And she said he gave me a nickname. So I went over and looked, and then I made a comment underneath that. And I believe he called me Star Guzzler. Now, didn't Lichen, isn't he one of the ones that said that it was very immature for people to give somebody a nickname for their username, a nickname, right? But here he's calling me that. When I wasn't rude, I didn't call him names. I have never called him anything but Lichen. I don't even think I've called him by his first name. If I have, I don't remember ever calling him by his first name. I call him Lichen because that's what he goes by for his username. Normally, Lichen Legion, Lichen. Okay? Try to do that respect thing. I don't even call him what other people call him. You know, the spray, right? I don't even call him that. But if I wanted to be that triggered person, because, you know, he likes to trigger people. He says it all the time. You're triggered, aren't you? Triggered. In my opinion, he enjoys triggering people. It makes him feel good. That Howard Stern's kind of thing, you know? It really makes him feel good. It's kind of that creator, that one that likes to get a rise out of people by saying the words or doing the things that triggers people. But if I was one of those people that trigger easily, I could say, Lichen, you called me Star Guzzler or Star Guzzler. I think it was Star Guzzler. Are you saying I'm an alcoholic? Because, you know, I could have took it that way, right? Guzzler. I drink too much? Oh my gosh. What are you saying about my username? Are you saying I'm a drinker? Is that what you're spreading around? Why would you use from gazer to guzzler? Lichen? What are you trying to say there? For one, I don't drink. I mean, at once in a blue moon, I will have a mixed drink. I can't stand the taste of beer. That's just me, never could. So once in a great while, and when I say once in a great while, I'm talking I can count on one hand a year, maybe a year and a half, when me and my girlfriends go out or we have get-togethers, I might have a mixed girly drink. Okay? You know, those fancy names. Drinks. And it's only one drink. I'm lightweight. That's all I can handle. Okay? I'm just not a drinker. So, just saying, though, if I was one of those triggered people, I could say that what he put on my name, my username, I could go with it and twist it and turn it like a lot of people like to do in this drama circle, couldn't I? I sure could. And they would be saying, oh my gosh, you are reaching. You are reaching. Yeah, I would be. I would be really reaching. And I'm not triggered. Okay? Let him say what he wants. I spoke the truth. Because he is being a bully to Mrs. Portland. And a lot of people in his community are being bullies to Mrs. Portland. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And I don't care what he wants to put on the last of my name. Now, I'm going to explain why I came up with the Stargazer name. And I could say that I'm triggered, or that what he said was degrading to me because of why I chose my username. But here's the thing. Not a one of you guys know why I chose my name. So how would you know to make me feel offended? And I'm not offended. It takes, you know, a lot to trigger me. I've said before, a lot of things that Lichen does in the community, it doesn't trigger me, okay? I feel for those that it does trigger. Because a lot of things that happened in my life, and I've talked about some of those, not a lot, but some. It's not made me a victim. It's made me a survivor because I've got through it. But there's a lot of people in this community that are still suffering, and they haven't got to that survivor state yet, or that stage. And in my opinion, I'm sorry, he loves to trigger people. He loves it. He feeds on it. Now, before I get to what I wanted to say, Stargazer. Why did I come up with that name? Now, I wasn't going to use my real name yet because I've been watching. I've already said that. I've been watching for almost 4 years. Oh, no, over 4 years now. I've been saying almost 4 years for a while. It's been over 4 years. I have been watching. I've been interested in human behavior on social media. And no way was I going to use my name because some of y'all are crazy. You go real life. You go after people's family. We're going to talk about that a little bit later too. So I wasn't going to use my name. Now, I don't have a past. All right, I don't have a criminal record. Doesn't make me any better than anybody else. I do have a job, but the thing is I don't say anything out there on social media that is going to jeopardize my job. That's why I try to keep it pretty clean. Besides saying a few cuss words, I don't F-bomb. I do say F, but I don't F-bomb. And I try to keep it pretty clean. I do lose my train of thought a lot. I've already explained that, okay? Don't have to go through that again either. But I knew eventually, maybe, if my channel grew, which I never expected it to grow to the point where I could get monetized. I still have not sent anything in to be monetized, all right? I still don't have no PayPal's up or any of that stuff yet. I could have when I started my channel, like, the majority of the creators do. I just haven't done it. But I picked Stargazer because one of my closest friends, I have a lot, quite a few close friends. I've talked about that in my other videos since high school. And one of my closest friends passed away shortly before I started my channel. I believe it was I started my channel, I believe it was in, December 10th? She passed away in November, okay? From a stroke. And she was a couple of years younger than me. And it just came on out of the blue. And she thought that she had the C virus. And she was the one that had all the energy in the world. She was our concert girl, okay? Whenever there was a concert going on, this girl, she was at them all. And she would be texting, hey, this person is, and where we go to the major concerts, okay, is about an hour and a half from where I live, the major ones. And she would be like, hey, they're coming into town. I'm going, you going. And I didn't get to go as much as my other really good friend, okay? They got to go more than I did. But she was the concert girl. Went to all the concerts. I mean, especially the 80s, okay? We're the 80s girls. She had a heart of gold. She would drop whatever she was doing to help you. She still had children at home. Mine are grown. She started having kids later in life. She was married to her high school sweetheart. She wasn't that old when you think about it. And she was having headaches. And I still have all her texts about the headaches. And she had a mild stroke and went into the hospital. And they let her go home. And then she had a massive stroke. After they let her go home, she was in the hospital for about a week. When she went home, and then she had the massive stroke, and she passed away. And they did donate her organs. She was an organ donor and saved many lives. She had the, I believe it's the Walk of Love. And her name was Star. Okay? Her name was Star. So that's where I got my name. I was not going to use her name and just call myself Star. But I knew that I wanted to incorporate her name somehow into my channel. So that's where I came up with Stargazer. Okay? And when I tell my friends about this channel, they still don't know my channel name. Only a few, like I said, even know I have a channel. So when I tell them on Facebook, which I don't even know if I want to, because this trauma circle is so ugly, but they will know when they see my name, they'll know exactly what Stargazer means. Okay, because they'll see Star on there. She was a wonderful soul that would help anybody, even a stranger. So I could be really offended, right? Because, you know, are you degrading my friend? But see, I know that's reaching, because you guys had no clue. Lichen had no clue that, you know, I named my channel after my friend who passed away. So anyways, moving along. He also stated that my opinions don't count until I panel up. Well, I'm sorry, Lichen, but no man, okay, will ever tell me what to do again. I dealt with that years ago, okay? It'll be a cold day in hell before a man or a woman, but especially a man, will ever tell me what to do. Just because I haven't paneled up yet does not mean I don't have an opinion, all right? And you being a bully and making fun of a disabled woman, like I said, calling her out. I've called her out. I made videos calling out her bad behavior. Even her bad behavior on you. I called it out. I called out her bad behavior on Tiff. I don't know much about Tiff. I don't. But what she said about Tiff was absolutely disgusting. I did a video and I called it out. It was wrong. Because see, I can call it out all the way around if I see it and I hear it with my own ears or see it with my own eyes. But I'm not on YouTube 24/7, and I don't have mods. I don't have eyes and ears everywhere. I've said this multiple times. So I don't see what's going on all the time. But I can call it out all the way around. I absolutely can. I've also said I've called out Jessica Lynn. As a matter of fact, Lichen even came in one time when I called out when she called Natasha's niece the token bee. I said it shouldn't have been said, and Granny did come in and said, no, I shouldn't have said those words. She owned it. She explained what she was trying to do, But she said, I shouldn't have used those words, and I'm sorry. Lichen did come in and say, they're only words. But Granny said she was sorry. I think that's the only time Lichen came in my comment section that I can remember. I mean, after a few days, I don't look back to see the comments. I just don't, maybe I should, but I just don't have time. Because I try to respond to everybody's comments. I do. But after like 1 or 2 days, I don't go back and look anymore. Maybe I need to do that. I have called Natasha out on a lot of different things. I've also stood up for her when things were done that I thought should not have been done to her or her family. I stood up for Lichen with what Mrs. P did. I called Granny out about the pictures. I said it shouldn't have happened. She shouldn't have done that with the pictures. I called out Lichen about talking about the fake hoo-ha stuff that he had spreading around. And in my opinion, he would have stuck with that. He still is, okay? Saying it has warts or whatever. I've already did a video on that. HPV, sorry, learn it. Learn it. Oh my goodness. Some people out there that think that HPV automatically means you have warts. You really need to talk to a gynecologist or do some research. There's only certain strands of HPV that will give you warts, okay? And it's pretty clear that Lichen lied. He admitted to it. He never got a hoo-ha pic, but he ran with that. And he wants to cry foul. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But I can call it out all the way around if I see it and hear it. But I don't have to degrade someone and call them bitches or see you next Tuesday or make fun of their looks or any of that, you know, body shame them or this and that. I can do it in a different way, right? I called out about the journal that Granny should have never gave it to Lichen. It should, when she got it in her hand, it should have been deleted. And yes, everybody keeps wanting to forget that Lichen is the one that put it out. No matter who gives it to him, he's a grown-ass man. No one held a gun to his head. They still want to point the fingers back at Granny, but she might have gave it to him. He put it out. I don't know what people don't want to understand there. Now, they both apologized. They both apologized. It's in the past. Nobody can take it back. But this BS that he wants to put out there. Now, I did listen to one of his lives where he said that he owns it and he apologized. Yeah, I heard the apology. I think that he's sorry. I think they're both sorry that it happened. And I do get why they were angry because, yeah, Lichen, I called it out too about Natasha wanting to put out your revenge porn. I mean, I do have to say though, people, please don't be putting your junk on social media. Don't be putting self-pleasure and sexual activity out on social media because you see how people flip-flop back and forth. So you got to be careful. Once it's on social media, it's always on social media. But it seems like, in my opinion, some people are kind of, I don't know, maybe proud that their stuff is out there. But anyways, what Natasha did was wrong. It was kind of like blackmail. If you don't cam up, I'm going to put this out there. Right? She did say that all the way through that live. Now, at this time, Lichen and Granny weren't together anymore. So Granny gave all this stuff to Lichen. And he used it. He used that journal. And for the longest time, after that, after they found out that, Granny's the one that gave it to him, it was like everything was pointed back at Granny. That it was all her fault. Even on Lichen's end. Well, Granny gave it to me. Granny gave it to me. Grown-ass man. Almost what? 40? I don't even know how old he is. 37, 38? Something like that. That could have said, no. This is about a minor child. I'm not going to put it out there. But see, I called it out on both ends. I sure did. Okay? Because it wasn't right. Because it was about a minor child. But he wants to double down and say now that, it was going after Natasha. It was about a minor child. You should have known better. Even if it showed negative things about Natasha and what was going on, you didn't give a rat's butt about that child. Nobody gave a rat's butt about that child, because if they did, and I even said it was wrong, that none of this stuff about that child should have been released on social media. I did a video. My videos are up. Okay? If anybody cared about that child, they would have addressed it and not put it out on social media. All right? Right? You did it to get back at Natasha. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You did it to get back at Natasha and for content. That's what it was done for. Not because you gave a crap about what might be going on in that house about this minor child. And that's the truth. And you know it. You know it. All right? Now, about me paneling up. Again, like I said, no one, especially a man, will ever tell me what to do again. And I am going to be paneling up. I already said I'm going to be going live at some point. It's got put on the back burner because I'm doing other stuff. And I do have a job outside of the home on top of all the other stuff I'm doing. All right? I'm not on here all the time. But when I do, I have no problem debating you, Lichen. None. Because, see, I don't get triggered. Because I had to deal with enough in my life. Enough, like I said, where I'm no victim. I'm a survivor. So, you can't trigger me. You can't. No matter how hard you try, you are not going to trigger me. I'm not going to start crying. You can make fun of me as much as you want. I will laugh in your face. Seriously. I'm 52 years old. I'm old enough to be your mama. I mean, almost. I mean, my oldest is 34. I had her when I was 18. So, I mean, I could have, could be old enough to be your mama. But I don't care what anybody says about my looks, because I've earned every damn wrinkle I have. All right? Earned it. So I don't care. You will not find a damn thing on me, not even a speeding ticket. If you tried, you won't find anything. I mean, you can go digging on my kids and you're not going to find anything either. But I will never mention my children's name because they're not a part of this YouTube bullcrap. And that's one of the reasons why I did not go with my name, my real name, right? Because some of y'all are crazy. You go and mess with jobs. You mess with family members. You send people, cops out to houses. You do crazy stuff because you're childish and you can't keep stuff on YouTube. You have to go real life. That's why. And I debated about if I wanted to go real, on camera or not. But I thought, you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what y'all say. Because you can't make me cry. And I will not run off panel. Because, see, I know some people get really upset and they'll start yelling. And they'll read chat. And chat will get them upset, too. Because people will say the most awful things. They talk about morals, right? But they'll say the most hurtful things to people. In chat, you get somebody up on panel or whatever, and you sit there in a calm demeanor, but you'll have people in chat just saying the most awful things, and you'll say the most awful things. Call people, see you next Tuesday. I've been called that so much by my ex that I'm immune. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Calling me a bitch. No words will trigger me. None. Absolutely none. All right. I don't make fun of people. I don't make fun of their looks. So I don't body shame them. I don't do any of that. I don't make fun of screen names either, Lichen, like you did, right? I don't do that. So you already got one up on me. But I will debate you when I go live. And like I said, I won't drop down upset, crying, because you can't get me that way. I've raised 3 kids, 2 boys, and a lot of troubled teens, my son's friends, that had real issues, that are very productive members of society now. Tough kids. Tough. They still call me mama to this day. So, you won't faze me. You will not faze me. I will not cuss on your panel, no matter what you call me, no matter what chat calls me. I won't cuss. I won't raise my voice. Now, my tone might be a little nastier, kind of like this. I'll put get my point across, but I will be very calm. You can make fun of me, body shame me like, you're doing to a lot of the women out there, right? Have at it. If that's your thing, have at it. It won't trigger me. There's not a damn thing that you can do that will trigger me. Because I don't get triggered. The only thing that I would say, okay, I take that back. The one thing that does trigger me is the other people in this community that maybe still are victims and haven't got to that survivor stage yet. And things do trigger them. That is a thing, okay? And yes, maybe they should log off. Maybe they should. Because you like to talk a lot about people's mental health, just like some other creators, some of their addictions, and calling women bitches all the time. I mean, that word just comes out of your mouth just so freely. So freely. Just calling everybody bitches. And see you next Tuesday. And you say, well, if that's how you want to act, and I give it to you. Some women are. They're just pure bitches. But so are a lot of men. So are a lot of men. And you know, I got to say, you know, some of our men aren't treated fairly and they are abused by women. Absolutely. See it all the time. See it all the time. And they're not treated fairly. But, you know, the comment kind of stuck with me that, you know, about the feminine women and, no, what you gave me the vibe of the weak women, you know, that talk sweet and, you know, weak and bow down to you. Now, I had to do that for 15 years. Don't think so. Don't think so. It's called equal partnership, okay? Equals. Equals. You know, you sit there and scream and call people bitches all the time. I mean, you're not acting like a man. That's not what a man does. But you want a woman to be feminine and talk real sweet and nice and do the curtsy and all that sweet stuff while you're sitting there just, you know, going a little crazy there with constantly bitch this and bitch that and see you next Tuesday and this and shut the F up and this and the way you talk? Really? Take a look in the mirror. Give me a break. I mean, talk like a gentleman. I mean, you can't scream for a woman to be act like a lady, right? Act like a lady if you're not acting like a gentleman, right? It works both ways. Works both ways. Now, moving along from that. Now we're going to talk about the Granny and Lichen situation. All right. Now, I heard the newest video that he put out, and he is just screaming. Don't really want to say screaming because that is kind of reaching, right? But he's upset because he's saying she's talking about him all the time. She's jealous, a jealous ex that just can't move on. And she's just talking about him all the time. Lichen. Now, people that are on the outside looking in can see that you talk about her all the time. On other people's panels, you will bring her up when she is not even the subject. No one's even talking about her. And you're like, well, what about Granny? What about Granny? And even some people are saying, just stop with the Granny talk already. Why are you bringing Granny up? This had nothing to do with her. I've seen it. Because when you're just back looking in and not saying anything, you see this stuff. All right? And yes, I've seen Granny talk about Lichen. She would... But a lot of the stuff that she has said is just kind of in passing. You know, well, I'll just say the can, because I'm not going to stoop to Lichen's level, stoop to his level, and call him a nickname, right? Like he called me. Ain't going to do that. Even though, like I said, in some of my videos, I've stuck up for him. Sure have. You just didn't listen. And that's okay. You don't listen to my channel, so I get it. But I've stuck up for him. Just on one of my last videos I did about Mrs. P, when he had enough of her, what she said about Portland Archive's son. And he's like, that's too low. I'm not going to go for that. I stuck up for Lichen there. I also stuck up for him, something else he said. With Voices, where he was trying to, when people made peace with Natasha, and he was trying in a very nice, calm way, telling Voices that, you know, you can't, if someone's making peace, you can't sit there and judge them and tell them, no, you shouldn't do that. They're grown adults. You need to let them do what they do, if that's the choice they made. I just did that in my last video. I believe it was my last one. So I gave him kudos and I stood up for him. So just saying, I can call it out all the way around, and I can also give people the kudos, if that's, how you want to call it, when I see it and hear it. Some of you all can't do that because of your loyalty thing. You can't do it. But anyways, sometimes when he's doing something, I've heard her say, he did this or he did that, and especially about this Mrs. P thing, just in passing. But to go on and on and on continuously, I have not heard that. Or to make lives about him. Like I said, in passing, and you're going to have that. This is a drama community. It really gets to me that people are saying, keep my name out of your mouth. Don't talk about me. This is a drama community. Isn't that what happens in the drama community? Now, I'm not talking about lies, because people spread around lies. You got to squash the lies when people are spreading those around. Right, Lichen? Like what you lied about on Jessica Lynn. The picture that never happened. And then, people are still going with that. I mean, what did you just call her? You gave her a nickname too. Isn't that childish? And it's a lie nickname. I mean, you didn't even see it. So how can you... Yeah, and then other creators are going with that, and they're making content out of it. They have been, since you put that lie out there. Go figure. And then you just... Oh my gosh. And then you went real life, calling the police because she recorded the conversation so that she could get the truth out of you, which the truth came out, and the police laughed it off. Okay. But anyways, then you put out a picture saying it was her and it was another woman strung out, and then you try to say that was a meme. Really? Doesn't memes have words and stuff like that? I don't know if it had any words on it, but I didn't see any words on that picture. You just said that was her strung out and she sent that picture to... We knew that was BS to begin with. Seriously, if she was that strung out, how would she have sent the picture to you? And another thing, why would she send a picture like that to you? Makes no sense. But again, I don't think you would have redacted that unless, they did the Google research and found out it was someone not even in the country that was in recovery. It was pretty sick, right? And then the fake older Jessica picture. This is Jessica Lynn without makeup. Yeah, whatever. Okay, and then, and only then, I believe that's when she started the talk about the peen, okay, in retaliation. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong, but I think it was only after that is when the peen talk started. What do you expect? I mean, how many creators went on and on about Jessica's hoo-ha for content because of what you put out? And they're still going on about it. About warts and stuff. Yeah, some people, not only, with the lie, but they don't know nothing about HPV. Like I said, go talk to a gynecologist. If you don't know, women should know about their bodies, and they should know about this stuff. And you men that don't know, and you just want to put it out there, do some research. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember this right, all that was put out before she started talking about the peen, okay? I could be wrong, and if I am, I apologize. But moving along from that, a lot of people were saying, we don't want to hear about GW, including Tiff. She didn't want to hear about it. Okay? She didn't. Now, I don't know if she dropped off that one panel or not because she was sick of hearing about it. She said, I think she said that, you know, she had something to do or whatever. But she did say, why are you talking about GW? You know, people are sick of it. Because she gets brought up when there's nothing going on. Now, I can understand if she did something horrible, right? And the behavior was brought up and that was being discussed at that time, that's one thing. Kind of like, you know, vice versa. That's what happens in the drama community. But if it's something that was brought up like a long time ago, something that happened a long time ago and it's now being brought up again and again and again like a broken record, and you want to talk about obsession? Seriously? And then you talk about, again, of her not being alive. Yeah, let's go there. Because this is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Because not only did Lichen say before that she should, you know, he would be happy. Again, don't quote me word for word. I called it out, sure did. Other people did too. No one in his community that I know of did. No, it's okay. You know, that loyalty thing. I think one person in Natasha's community did. They got the clip channel. One person, Natasha didn't. Why didn't Natasha call it out? I called out about what Voices said about her daughter, and a lot of other people did too that don't like Natasha. Why can't you, Natasha, call out about a creator that is wishing death on another creator? You don't like that creator, that's why. Yeah. But anyways, he wished, and I believe that CJ was on that as well because they were both on panel, that they died and got mangled in a car accident. Badly. And he said, yeah, I said it. And then doubled down in another video and said, yep, I don't regret it either. Heat of the moment, what she's been doing to me, blah, 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 blah. But are you triggered? Because you like to trigger everybody else. Are you triggered? Knowing that she was in a car accident before, right? You know that. But nobody in your community, nobody, they think that's okay. They think that's okay that you said that. That's okay. That's fine. And I called it out before. If somebody in a different community said that about Lichen, oh, hell would break loose. Oh, yes, it would. It sure would. Did you guys hear that? Oh, my gosh. How dare they? They are disgusting. I cannot believe that. But since it was said about Granny, oh, it's just words. Look at my face. Look at my face when I said it. It's just words. But then he doubled down on another video and he's like, at the time, I probably meant it. But, you know, that we support that. We support that. And then, again, tonight, I heard the clip. And he said, again, not word for word, because I don't have it in front of me, for her to go slice her wrist and how to do it. With the little hand motions there. That's okay too, isn't it? So, now I do get that he apologized after that one. about, wishing, someone to unlive themselves. And I seen some of the comments in there, and they're like, well, at least you're owning it. At least, we make mistakes, and we're only human, and we learn from them, and, we say things we don't mean at times, and yada, yada, yada. Absolutely, we are only human. And a lot of times we do say things that we don't mean. But those things, no. Those are things we don't say. I mean, do you say that in real life to people? Especially someone that you claim to have cared about? Do you wish them death? Do you go up to them and say, hey, why don't you go and do this to your wrist to unlive yourself? And do it this way. Is that something you would say to someone in real life? I don't think so. But he's got all the support, right? And he already did it once in a different way. He didn't learn from it that time, so he did it again, right? Another Mrs. P? Yeah? But we're okay with that, aren't we? We're okay. They're only words, right? They're only words. And he did another, a panel, or a live, I'm sorry, where he had people up on their panel, and they were talking about, racism. And how, the N-word isn't really racist. It's not the worst racist slur you can use. Really? Really? And I was looking at chat, and people were agreeing. Now, I think there was maybe just one person that's like, no, I don't agree with that. I'm not good with that at all. And I believe Lichen said, well, we're going to have to agree to disagree. See, he's okay with using that word. We all know this. He used it before. He's just not doing it in this community because he knows that he would lose support from a lot of people. And the R word as well, right? Because that triggers a lot of people. They're not okay with that. There's a lot of people that have blended families. I have a blended family. And we just know it's not right. It's not okay. It's not in our vocabulary. And he's like, well, back in the past, it was just jokes. It was just jokes. Some of us in real life, don't even joke about those words. We don't use those as jokes. We don't say them because, I don't know, we just know better. I dare him, since they're just words, to go up to an African American and call him the N-word and say, well, it's just words. It don't mean anything. Let's see how that goes over for you. I bet you won't be standing. Bet not. Because, see, we don't know, us people that are white, not of color, we don't know what they have to go through with racism on a daily. And what that word actually means to them. Okay? When they've been called that. It's not just words to them. And even if someone's sitting down making a joking about it, it wouldn't go over very well. Try it, Lichen. Try it. Try it. There ya. Don't think it would go over very well. Now, you have a few African Americans. I have to say that one of my nephews, he just says people that use it are ignorant, and, it doesn't faze him anymore, because just like the see you next Tuesday, okay, to me, doesn't trigger me. He says, that doesn't faze him anymore because he's heard it so much. in his lifetime, he'll just tell people, you're ignorant, you're stupid. You know, if you want to be racist, you're going to be racist. Nothing's going to change your mind. You know, if you want to call me that, you're going to call me that. I'm not going to go to jail for your stupid ass by beating your ass. But other people are going to pound you in the ground for saying those words to them. And then you had some other people that were in the chat that were saying that it's not about black and white. That word. Look the word up. Yes, I do get it. It means also ignorant. But we know where the N-word comes from, okay? We're not dumb. We're not dumb. Now we're going to get to Mrs. P, because this video is going on a long time, and since I am redoing it, I want to get it released tonight. Since I redid it after being, you know, my little name, having a nickname. Mrs. P has done some awful things. I've called her out. I have. On what she's done to everybody in this community. There is one thing to call it out. And then move on. There has been some creators that she's done some awful things to and said awful things about. They don't keep doing videos on her. They just ignore her. They might call her out and then move on. Okay? She has lied about a lot of people. Some people's went really low on her. Other creators just move on. They might say one or two things about her and say, and they just have not allowed her in their community. Okay? You have every right to correct Mrs. P and her behavior, especially if she's lying about you. Absolutely. But we have Lichen that is actually, in my opinion, bullying Mrs. P. Okay? And when I mean bullying, he's making videos, memes, all right? And making fun of her. Making fun of her, along with some other people in the community. Now, what she did wasn't right. I already said, I called that out. I called out what she did to Tiff. That was not right. That was gross. You can call it out and then move on. But he is literally bullying the woman. She's not even on YouTube. And then he made a comment that, well, if she stays away off of YouTube, then I won't be doing any content. It won't be fun. It won't be fun. See, to him, it is fun to bully someone, especially if they have a mental health issue, right? If it's going to trigger them to keep going, it's going to be fun. It's going to be content. It's going to be fun to do. That is being a bully. Now, where are all the people that stand up against bullying? To say, you know, in his community now? Or that have been there? That said, we will call it out? Now, a lot of people say, we don't condone everything that Lichen says and does. We don't do it. I get that. There's a lot of subs that might be creators, or they might not be creators. They might just be subs. They don't like everything about a creator, what a creator says or does, but they still support that creator. Right? They don't like everything that they say and do. But they still like them. They still like some of their content. That goes for, you know, a lot of creators. You're not going to like everything that they put out there. And you might be against some of the stuff that they put out there. But, yeah, there's a but. Where do you draw the line and say this creator is going too low? Going too low for me to be able to support them anymore. this creator is being too disgusting that I cannot support them anymore. When they're going real life on people, okay? When they are being a bully, not just clapping back, there is a difference. There's also a difference when you correct lies. But when you are being a bully and making fun over and over and over again, making fun of somebody, especially with mental health issues, when you're making fun of mental health issues, especially when a lot of people in this community has put it out that they have mental health issues. Even subs have put out, you see it in chat, they put out that they suffer from some sort of mental health issue. But you have some creators that are degrading that, and they make fun of it. And they even say that they like to trigger it. You're okay with that? You're okay with that? You have some that say that they didn't even know about what mental health issues were until, late in life, because they never had to deal with it. They never had family members that had to deal with it. As well as addiction. You have creators like Lichen and others as well that make fun of addiction. Make fun of people that are wanting to self-harm and say it's just for attention. You never know. You never know. And there are some people out there, just like myself too, that has lost loved ones, right, to suicide. There's people out there that have put it out that they have attempted. But you have some creators that make fun of that. How can you support it? That's what I want to know. How can you support? You're like, well, I don't support that. How can you support all of these things? Support an essay? Or, I'm sorry, making fun of essay? Telling another creator to go unlive themselves and wishing death on them? Putting out a child's journal? Making fun of literally bullying Mrs. Portland? I mean, it's gone beyond. Like I said, I've made videos about Mrs. Portland calling out her bad behavior on even Lichen himself. Even on Natasha. When she did it to Natasha. When she did it to Granny. When she did it to some other people. When she did it to Noodle Mash. But how can you say that you stand up against bullies? You stand up against people that do this type of behavior, but you are supporting this creator and say, well, there's things that I don't like that they say, but he's still my friend. And I'm going to support him. Well, then you support all of that. You do. You stand behind it. Sorry, you do. Because he does it all the time. He degrades women. Absolutely. When he's sitting there calling them. And that's almost on every live. Almost on every live. And I have been watching. Yes, I have. So that I can see if that's how it is. And he's, saying, well, like I said, if women act like women, instead of bitches. Like I said, yeah, a lot of women do act like bitches. But who is he to call him out on being a bitch? No one made him God. What does that make him? Like I said, he sure doesn't act like a gentleman. And the women that are online with him can say, oh, he's a gentleman. You haven't met him. I think one met him. You haven't been around him. And the one that was what, a couple of days? You haven't been around him to know if he's a gentleman or not. I mean, give me a break. Anybody can act however they want to act on the phone or sweet talk you or whatever on the internet. That doesn't mean jack. But who is he to call out other people when he acts the way he acts and talks the way he talks? And yes, he can be funny. A lot of the creators, Natasha can be funny. Granny can be funny. CJ can be funny. Robbie can be funny. All these other creators can be funny and give out good content, okay? But when you talk like this, and especially about all these different subjects, right? And you just turn a blind eye and you don't call it out because they're my friend. I have loyalty. And I don't see nothing wrong with it. Well, you would see something wrong with it if they weren't your friend and they were somebody else. You would be calling it out, and that's the truth. All right? It's the truth. He likes that shock value. He loves it. And I do want to say that I was doing this video before I already was uploading it to my gallery, before he gave me the little nickname. I don't care about the nickname he gave me. He can call me whatever he chooses to call me. Anybody can call me whatever they choose to call me. I don't care. It doesn't trigger me. Okay? You can call me whatever. You will not trigger me. It's a username. Yes, it has to do with my friend Star. But it's still not going to trigger me. Because I mean, she was an awesome person. So nothing's ever going to take that away, no matter what anybody wants to try to use with my username. And I'll be going by my real first name. I'm never going to use my last name because that's just stupid, okay? And that's the last thing I want to talk about is what Natasha said. And some of these other creators are like, well, if you're a creator, you should use your first and last name, or you should use your whole name. Well, the reason why a lot of people don't want to is because of crazy people out there that want to dig and dig and dig and go real life. Okay? And go, like I said before, I did a video before, they want to go after your mother. Well, my parents are deceased, but they want to go after your children and their children and go after your uncle and your aunt and your cousin and that cousin's cousin and your cousin's neighbor and your cousin's neighbor's cousin. Yeah, that's how crazy people are. So I get it. I absolutely get it. Why a lot of people don't want to use their real names in this drama circle or on social media. Because some of y'all have serious issues. Serious. And some of you seem like you really need some anger management, some therapy to figure out what is going on and why you have these issues where you feel like you can't keep things on YouTube and be civil and act like an adult, and why you have to be childish and go real life and go after people's families and their children. And like I said, all these other relatives. It's crazy. So I get why a lot of people use avatars and not their real picture. Because then you do the picture, what is that? The reverse picture to try to dig and find out who's this and that. Yeah, you guys got way too much time on your hands. Way too much time. So again, I will be going live at some point in time, but I'll be damned if I have somebody try to tell me when I do it. And, you know, I don't give a shit if my comment, if my opinion or whatever doesn't matter to Lichen. Don't care, Lichen. I really don't. Don't care what you think. I made a comment. I was nice about it. I don't care if you didn't like it or not. I really don't. It was just a comment. Don't be triggered, okay? Don't be a trigger Ken. Come on now. Don't have to agree with me. It was just a comment. But with ending this, all right, in my opinion, he is a bully. And he loves that shock value. Or that shock factor, I should say. Can he be entertaining to his people? Yeah. He does his little cartoons. You know, foul mouth as can be. A lot of people like that. That's what they like. So, just like with Howard Stern, a lot of females love Howard Stern. They love his foul mouth. They love, you know, how he can just, I don't know. A lot of people like Howard Stern. He tells it as it is. So, what I'm saying is to, you know, the people that really follow Lichen and they're just really huge supporters, you know, you can't sit there and call people out on some of the things that might be said when your own leader is 100%, or I should say 100 times worse, okay? Worse. So with that, I'm going to go. Everyone have a great evening.